Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today I'm going to be continuing my Disney movie marathon once again. And this time I'll be reviewing yet another documentary, and this one is titled, folks, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, the Futurism of Walt Disney. And this one was released in 2016. I figure I would do this again because of the fact that, well, I like Walt Disney, and I feel like I didn't really review enough documentaries to begin with. So of course, let's dive right in, shall we? This documentary pretty much shows that Walt Disney himself is on the pursuit of certain things. Of course, Walt Disney himself is known for animation, but he did create a lot of these live-action films when his career finally took off. But of course, he's also known for having these theme parks and the Mickey Mouse Club, of course. But his real passion was technology and how he could have used it to shape a better, peaceful time for the future for everyone. Even in his early times as a cartoonist, folks, he had a certain struggle that he had to go through. The host of this particular documentary does a really good job of detailing his struggles and whatnot throughout his career. And he does a really good job as a host, folks, providing a lot of information. And I think this was probably my favorite documentary that was done, folks. Yeah, this was definitely a well put together documentary that was done, folks. I did like it. And there was lots of advances that was being provided in this particular documentary, and there's lots of stuff that was being really well put together, folks. So this documentary, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, is in many ways a focused biography of Walt Disney himself. And it might not be very detailed in his personal life, but it does detail in his career. And it does show lots of interactions with the characters and his family members and whatnot. There's lots of, I guess you can say, these interviews that were provided for this particular thing, and I did like that. I really enjoy this, folks, and I would say that this is definitely worth checking out as a whole. I'm not sure if this is available on Blu-ray and DVD, but if it is, folks, I'll definitely tell you to get your hands on this, folks, because it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, it's a little lengthy, folks, but just keep in mind it is worth watching. And I've seen this documentary with Amazing Maddie, so Amazing Maddie, if you're watching this, I highly appreciate the fact that you watch this with me. It's very informative and really well edited, and it is definitely well put together as a whole. It's one of those documentaries I wouldn't mind watching over and over again. I was never a big fan of documentaries, to be bluntly honest with you, folks. I never cared for documentaries, really, folks, but there's quite a few of them I would watch over and over again. And this is definitely one of them. I'll say that I did have a good time watching this. Yeah, it's quite long, but I don't mind, really, folks, because it was really well put together. It didn't come off beating me over the head with anything. It didn't come off too preachy. And yes, this did serve as an inspiration for a lot of people. I often wondered if he was still alive, how he would react to his Disney theme parks nowadays, and to certain movies as well, folks. And I'm sure he would have used CGI for some of the movies if he was still around. Because as mentioned before, he did love technology. So he had a great passion for technology. So I would think he wouldn't mind using CGI for a lot of his motion pictures nowadays. So yeah, it would be pretty interesting to see how things would have been if he were still around. So yeah, I would often wonder how the film Brave would have turned out if he had actually directed it. So I mean, I do like the film the same. So yeah, I'm sure he was proud of his creation, folks, and he was always coming up with ideas on how to extend on what he already created. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have used today's technology to advance what he had dreamed about, which does make total sense when you actually think about it. So that's a good thing right there, folks. This documentary, yeah, you can call it a film, folks. It is a form of a film. It definitely came off well put together. It was not sloppy put together. The editing was really good. and everybody was well spoken. Oh yeah. With Walt Disney, folks, he didn't want to build just another theme park. He really wanted to build a city of tomorrow that would feature many advanced concepts in this particular place, folks. And that is really well done, folks. You can see he had a dream right here. Of course, doing this particular thing was, of course, a really big struggle. And yeah, he had already purchased a big acres in a particular land in Florida to the north and west, Palm Beach, if I remember correctly. And he had to start somewhere, a big old acres kind of thing. Yeah, like I mentioned before, folks, a moment ago, he didn't want to build just on any other theme park, just to say maybe a city of tomorrow, so to speak. And yeah, he really wants to use technology for his benefit. He doesn't have to be evil or anything, folks. He wants to make sure that dreams can come true. Technology doesn't always have to be used for wars, fighting, or killing one another. Yeah, technology itself can be used in a positive way. It doesn't have to be so negative all the time, folks. So it's definitely a good thing, folks, in a lot of ways. He showed that it can be a positive thing. Oh yeah. There's nothing wrong with wanting to pursue a particular dream and actually living it, folks. That's a really good thing right there, folks. And he did make the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yet nobody had no faith in him when he was making that film, and thankfully it did become a box office success at the time. So yeah, and at that time you can say that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs could have been one of the very first full-length animated movies because of the fact having a full-length animated feature was thought to be crazy at the time. No one really took that seriously, folks. And a lot of people complained, yes, even back then, folks, a lot of these parents complained about the fact that the film might be too long. Because most of the time, generally speaking, at the time, cartoons were mostly maybe about 4 to 8 minutes, and as a whole, they were really, really short. So, a lot of the parents complain about the colors being too bright and whatnot, which of course is just pretentious nitpicking, really, really pretentious nitpicking. Even back then, folks, these parents would complain about the way the films are produced and whatnot, and of course, the people who had worked with Disney personally, they know the truth. Those whom had worked with Disney personally had found it really discouraging that a lot of these parents would just say really awful things about Disney himself because they knew in reality they were just lying about him. And they actually discussed that about in this film as well, folks. Yeah, he's not nowhere near as a horrible person as they make it out to be, folks. He's a good person at heart. Nobody's perfect, sure, but he's not near as bad as a lot of people tend to make him out to be. He's only human after all. But at the same time, he had a big dream. One of his personal favorites was Cinderella. So yeah, he used that as a reflection upon himself in a lot of ways, folks, because of the fact the main character was treated really, really badly and must go through the struggles in life to succeed later on. And yes, he did make a lot of money off these movies, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with making a lot of money, folks. Oh yeah. As long as money is not the only reason you're making these movies. He did have the passion and the creativity to go through certain situations. Yeah, we wouldn't have Beauty and the Beast if it wasn't for him. Beauty and the Beast is definitely one of the studio's best animated films, and I did enjoy it. So yeah, this is one of my favorites, folks. And of course, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have other movies such as the original version of Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, he definitely wanted to make that film, and he really wanted to make it come true. So yeah, Alice in Wonderland, there's been plenty of versions of that film, and he made one of the earliest versions of that. It's one of my favorite animated films that they made, folks, and I'm glad he was able to make it. It took him about 20 years to actually make that film, make it possible, if I remember correctly. Great, big, beautiful tomorrow, the Futurism of Walt Disney, will be the last documentary I'll be reviewing, folks. Mind you, I would still have plenty more of Disney movies to review, folks. But if I'm going to be reviewing any more Walt Disney documentaries, I believe I will save it for my next Disney movie-a-thon, folks. Because I believe I'll do another one later, I suppose. I still have plenty to review, folks. So, it'll still be continuing for a little while longer, of course. Overall, folks, I would say this is definitely one of the better documentaries I've seen over the years, folks. Even though I'm not really big on documentaries myself, really, but I did enjoy this one as a whole, folks. I really, really did. I definitely would recommend it, of course, because it is a really good film, folks. And Walt Disney himself did serve as an inspiration for plenty of people out there, and that's definitely a good thing. Top-notch documentary movie, folks. I don't care for documentaries, but this one is so well done, I was never bored at all. Oh yeah. Great, Big, Beautiful Tomorrow, the Futurism of Walt Disney, gets an overall rating of an 8.8 out of 10, folks. It gets an 8.8 out of 10 for me. So I definitely say give this one a chance, folks. As always, thanks for watching and take care. See ya. Oh yeah.